Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax. Except you, that person driving. Sit up and keep your eyes on the road. Your ears, though, can still listen as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm me, Rob. Let's talk about those New York teams.
Both New York teams. It's up to you, New York. New York. The Snoopy Bowl.
Oh, jeez.
Who would have thought that just paying millions of dollars for a stadium to be named after you would then make a game named after your mascot? I say millions, it's probably billions. Who knows how much freaking money MetLife gave to get that stadium named after them? Who knows?
That's
yeah.
Yeah,
well, it's a big bill. It's a big
money. I'm sure they made their money's back.
I'm sure they have. Listen, it's all about getting their name out there, which is stupid because whoever gets to choose what insurance they carry.
Yeah,
your job does that for you. Anyway, we're gonna go over obviously the last preseason game. You know what that means? Real football soon.
It's around the corner.
Real football soon. No more of this talking about practice here.
And the summer's coming to the end, but it's okay because fall is here.
What's
so
fall?
With the beautiful weather in New Jersey and the New York tri-state area, not everyone has retired like Drew over here, living in Florida.
Our summer is only halfway over.
Listen, if you're from
about November,
Drew, living in this area, the Jersey Shore summer's not over yet. It's actually just beginning.
Now you're saying it like a New Yorker. It's not. Nobody calls it the Jersey Shore that actually lives there. Come on. Now you're a Benny.
No, you call it the Jersey Shore summer. There's a difference because that's right after Labor Day.
Semantics here.
Yeah, semantics.
It's just the beach. For those who are unaware and maybe from North Jersey or New York and call it the Jersey Shore, that's how we knew if you're not from New Jersey and the Jersey area, the central South Jersey area there, because we just call it the beach.
You've been out of the lingo, I guess, some time now, but the Jersey Shore summer is just an acknowledgement that everyone that's quote unquote a Benny is no longer coming to our beaches, and now we can enjoy.
Oh yeah, post Labor Day, you get that 1 or 2 weeks of decent weather before it gets too cold.
It could go up to October if we're lucky.
Listen, I remember going, and we'll get to the game here in a second. We're getting sidetracked already. It's record timing for us. The game we had, not this past season, but the season before against the Bears. We know which game we're talking about here. This is that game, the epic meltdown by Joe Judge after the game and everything. I was so ticked off that I'm like, screw it. I'm watching the game at the beach. And I literally went to the beach and watched the game, went swimming after the game and everything. That's the kind of weather we have down here. All right. Let's get into the game here. But real quick before we do that, though, we do have a couple of bits of news here. The big one here is the Tommy Sweeney medical incident that happened today. Tommy Sweeney suffered some kind of what they're calling a medical event. They're not really giving us much details on what's going on, nor do they have to. I'm just be very frank on that off the bat. They don't have to tell us a goddamn thing. They're in no obligation. In fact, it's Tommy's job to decide what he does or doesn't want us to know. He has no. It's not even just that. That's just common decency.
Yeah, no, I got you.
I know it's a rare thing nowadays. Common decency.
Listen, at the end of the day, I just want to wish that man well. Seriously, and I wish his family well as well.
Yeah,
that's a lot of wells in a few sentences, but.
So, for those who aren't aware of what happened, basically. Again, he had some kind of medical incident. They're not really giving much details whatsoever. He was on basically at the practice where the staff was with him, took him over to the sidelines, ended up getting even more medical attention even beyond just the team at that point. But again, details are very sketchy. The Giants have said he was alert, stable, and speaking throughout the entire time. Daniel Jones is quoted as calling it extremely scary. His high school teammate and current teammate, Tommy DeVito, said that he heard he was doing okay. So whatever the incident is, it sounds like it's not life-threatening or to that extent there.
Yeah.
But the big thing most people are looking at is the fact that for those who are aware of his history may know this, he missed all of the 2020 season while with the Bills because of myocarditis that he developed after battling COVID. You hear about people usually having heart issues after contracting the virus back then and everything. He was one of those people. So again, no word if that's linked to it, but I did hear they took his shirt off and everything while you were looking at him, which obviously leads to believe it's going to be something with the chest area. Obviously, chest area, person with heart condition issue in the past. People are going to jump to that conclusion. And I'll say this: it's an educated guess that you have to make one. So, guys, don't get the conclusion.
Yeah, without any medical experts and without any medical machinery to see what's going on the inside, does not jump to conclusions. It could be thousands of things going on.
It could have been so many things. It's not even funny. So, I mean, it makes you think it was something serious because of the way they're talking, which makes you, again, go back to the heart thing. But, again, we're not doctors. And it's his personal medical info. We're under no obligation to know anything about it. And, again, we just wish him the best. Hope everything goes well. This is one of those circumstances that goes beyond football at that point there, because if it's that point that they won't talk about it, it's just, that's something serious. So, again, hope he's well for both him, his family, friends, everybody that knows him, It's
Tommy fans, Tommy's family, anyone that's listens to this show, just give them our best because
yes.
Yeah. And speedy recovery, Tommy.
It's scary. I mean, it's it kind of one of those things that people need to remember that, listen, it doesn't matter what kind of good shape you're in, medical stuff happens, take care of yourself, be prepared for worst case scenarios in life because unfortunately they do happen from time to time. So again, luckily it seems like this is not life threatening or anything crazy there. Hopefully that is the case because again, we don't have much information. But it seems like that's what's just going on. Is he had an incident? Seems like he's better, but again, details are so sketchy that we could be reading into the comments more than what's going on. So again, hope everything's going well for him. On later, happier news. The Giants. We've been talking about this the whole entire offseason here, where the corner room is a little sus. Isn't that the word the kids use nowadays? It's just sus.
Yeah. Instead of the whole word, just sus.
Yes, it's just sus. Not to be confused with Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
Sus. We got the two young rookies at that point in Banks and Hawkins. We got a Dory Jackson. But then you start going beyond that, the depth chart. Gordon Flott's not look so good. Darnay Holmes not look so good. Rodarius Williams cut. Nick McLeod has been converted over to safety. I mean, where are you going for your other corners at this point? Don't get me wrong. McLeod could play corner again, especially in a pinch. If it gets him on the field, he probably would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, there's a good chance that's going to happen.
There's safeties that are going to be able to cover as well, obviously, but you need some corners, especially when your star corner is known to have injury issues. Just saying. So, yeah, he's a former Commander. So, for the people that may, recognize the name, that maybe where you know him from, he was also a first-round pick in 2016 of the Cincinnati Bengals. He's now 30 years old. So, again, as a 41-year-old, sounds odd, but it's getting a little up there for a corner. And he's had injury issues like you would not believe. This man has literally made it through one season, and that's it, without having issues. One season. That's not a good record. That's really not. So, his rookie year, he had 15 games, but for most of his career, it's been like almost like a Dory Jackson. You get a light injury, you get out for a couple of weeks, and you're right back into it at that point. Except last year when he only played in 4 games. So, injury-prone player. Joe Shane couldn't help himself but talk to him and bring him in for a visit and a workout.
He's like,
what
son,
is it? What's
how's
the
your
one time we're going to have
ACL?
him finally come in? It's like, what is the time going to be that we bring in a player that doesn't have a massive injury issue, as far as, injury history? And, part of me goes, okay, well, obviously if they were healthy all the time, they wouldn't be available.
How's Cole's Beasley injury history?
His injury history is not that bad, actually. His might be the
exception. He might, yeah.
You're gonna make me look it up now. You're gonna make me look it up. This is like
I think he's been pretty healthy. He's just old.
Rob goes into the show going, "What can we make Drew look up during this?"
It's in the
what
show notes,
random
guys.
obscure fact. Like, how many tons of metal is in the Brooklyn Bridge?
1,100 tons.
So yeah, he has missed. I mean, he's missed games before, especially with Dallas. He's missed, with first 2 seasons, and he had 3 healthy seasons, then missed 1 game, then full season, then missed 1 game 2 years in a row. I mean, he's had minor injuries here and there, but I wouldn't call him injury prone based on the stats I'm seeing. I'll put it that way. But William Jackson III, sorry, Mr. Jackson, his injuries are for real.
And your mama is going to cry.
Yes. Oh, yes. I apologize a trillion times. Well, you just go werewolves of London on me?
A little bit there.
Wow.
Wow.
That was a weird combo. That was a weird combo. I don't even think I don't ever think about the werewolves of London would go into that song here. It's like
it's going to be the hot new remix.
Anyway, so yeah, like I said, it's a good fit, I think, potentially, because if he's healthy and if he's able to play, he's better than a lot of the backups we have. And you're not going to bring him in, obviously, for a massive contract. You're going to bring him in for a minimum deal to be a back-end depth piece guy with a lot of starting experience. So if they bring him in, I'm all for it. Because it's not like they're going to bring him in and start him over anybody else that we have. And if he does, let's be very frank, they love the rookies. If they're starting him over them, that means he's looking really good.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. So, yeah, like I said, we'll see what happens there overall. I haven't heard anything today as far as any news with him, because it was yesterday was the visit. Could have been there's kind of kicking the tires for now because they have a guy who maybe is on the cusp of getting healthy right now, and they want to see where he's at and where he's, look at their options. Keep in mind, Tuesday is also the cut day. So it may just be they want to get a kind of heads up and see what it looks like, see what happens on Tuesday, see what gets cut, and then decide what they want to do from there.
Yeah.
So, because there'll definitely be moves going on Tuesday.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of moves going on, especially after this game that we're going to talk about.
Oh, yes. So before we get into the game, we do have one bit of NFL news that is kind of relevant to this game now for us because we are playing the Jets this week. Jets wide receiver Corey Davis left the team for personal reasons a few days ago. No word on what those personal reasons are. Again, no obligation to give us that information. It's his personal life. But he's now retired today, randomly, out of the blue. Like, I don't think anybody outside of the Jets building expected this at all. And I can't even tell you if the Jets building even expected this. I mean, you're talking about a guy who was, going to play a very decent role. I don't want to say massive, but a decent role for them. And he just gone. Only 28 years old. You don't go, 28 years old. It's time to retire that guy. Put him out to pasture.
Yeah. Oh, Yeller style.
Hey, Grandpa, get off the field. But, yeah, I mean, he's not he wasn't the same player with the Jets that he was necessarily with the Titans. The Titans, he was kind of like that. Good wide receiver 2, even though he's playing wide receiver 1. But he was a good wide receiver 2, basically, for them. Actually, he had A.J. Brown. I guess he was wide receiver 2 there for them in reality.
I was going to say.
But I mean, the guy who's going to do anywhere from 600 to 900 yards. What would you expect out of a number 2? But then he went to the Jets and did about 500 yards a season the last 2 seasons. I will say this: he obviously had the Zach Wilson handicap. Might have had something to do with it. No word on whether or not Zach tried to sleep with his mother or not.
I was going to say maybe that's why he retired. He had to protect his mom.
Maybe that's what that'd be. I would take that very personal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, hopefully, if something major. I mean, let's put it this way: if you're retiring for personal reasons, something major is going on. That's not just I'm walking away, my heart's not in anymore. That's something's going on. It's bigger than football. So whatever it is,
which also takes your heart out of it.
Again. Yeah, like we're doing that. Like best of luck to everybody here. Just best of luck to everybody today. It's like
listen, whatever's going on, man.
Luck,
figure it out.
Now, as we listen to this, let's all go into a circle and sing Kumbaya.
Kumbaya.
Kumbaya. But yeah, like I said, that's a weird thing. Like you don't see a 28-year-old walking away from the game 2 weeks to go before the season starts. Like that's I don't know if like Aaron Rodgers maybe shoved him into a cave or something. Like
or a locker.
We're gonna find out tomorrow what happened. I'm gonna feel like a jerk for making these jokes now.
Yeah. Oh.
I know. Listen, we're allowed to have fun. We don't know the guy personally. It's okay. And I doubt he's listening.
Yeah.
If he is, I'm sorry.
We apologize. Come on the show and tell us what happened if you are listening.
But yeah, like I said, seriously, whatever it is, hopefully best of luck, whatever it is works out in his favor for him. I mean, like I said, something big happened, obviously. So, all right, on to the game itself, the stuff that matters, the game. But before we do again,
let me tell you about this.
No, none of that. We don't have no more topics like that besides the game here, but we do have some comments to go over here. John says, "Is it Snoopy or Schmoopy?" Seinfeld reference. LOL. Start watching it. You're missing out. What is Seinfeld, John? I don't even know.
Start watching it. That show finished 20 years ago.
No, because remember he got upset because he found out you and I are both not fans of the show.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, the show, ended, literally, the last episode was, 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago?
More than that, probably, I think, right? I mean, it's got to be the late 90s. As Rob once again gets me to go ahead and find out.
Random facts, Chuck checking live.
What? So the last episode was 1998.
Ooh.
I told you, late 90s. I'm usually pretty good for that kind of weird knowledge. I don't know why. Yeah, it's been a quarter of a century, John, since they had an episode. Stop it. We got to get over it. And Jeannie says, "Let's go, Giants.
Let's go."
And Raphael says, "Hello, Drew and Rob. Salute. What's up, man? Capitan."
Salute, Raph.
We got to get him still to admit he's a Giant fan. The guy's a self-professed Raiders fan that is in all the Giants chats and everything there. Listen, it's fine to be a football fan in general. I'm just saying, you could pick a better team than the Raiders, man. we got the 4 rings.
Yeah, and you guys gave up Derek Carr for Jimmy Garoppolo? No wonder why you're tuning into the Giants podcast.
I'm still a bit confused by that one. I really am. All right, let's get into the game, though. So I think the big thing for me as a fan, what I want to see more than anything else, as far as matchup-wise, or other intricacies of the game we're going to go over in a minute, that really is the bigger keys. But the big thing I want to see in this game overall is Aaron Rodgers is rumored to be playing. He hasn't played all preseason. And I want to see how these rookie corners do against him. Like, it's one thing to go out and beat, guys who are backups. Jared Goff didn't start. Bryce Young, rookie, hasn't started one NFL regular season game yet. It's a little difficult to sit there and say, okay, they've been playing great in the preseason, we're good to go, when that's what they've been going against.
Yeah.
Seeing them against Aaron Rodgers, woo, It's a little discount double check time right there.
Yeah. 2 rookies. Discount.
Double check. Double rookie check.
The safeties.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
But-
I said safeties, but corners. You know what I meant.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like one of those things that I think that seeing them against a legit NFL quarterback, and you know, people are going to have their talk this year about has Aaron Rodgers lost a step because he did take a slight step back last year. But it's like, okay, instead of being like a top 2 quarterback in the league, he's the top 5 quarterback in this league. He's still a freaking top 5 quarterback in this league.
Yeah.
He's still an amazing player. And let's be honest, probably a better quarterback than Daniel Jones at this point. That's a safe thing to say.
I mean, let's not take it away. Like, how many years as an NFL starter?
Is that what you're saying?
Give it away. No, how many years as an NFL starter has Aaron
now?
Give it away. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is a Chili Peppers. Pretty sure Aaron Rodgers is a Chili Peppers fan. But I'm just saying,
I was going to be in a Chili Pepper band tribute band.
I did not know that.
So a guy I worked with down here, we were going to start a Red Hot Chili Pepper tribute band, and we were going to call it the Lukewarm Bell Peppers.
It's fantastic.
Didn't work out, unfortunately, but yeah, it's. I think it'd been a cool name. I think they would have caught on. Anyway, sorry, we got sidetracked like 3 times within your train of thought. Let's have a Ritalin. Let's pop a Ritalin down. Pop. Let's go.
All I'm saying is, how many years has Aaron Rodgers been in this league as an efficient elite quarterback?
57.
57. He may have taken a step or 2 back.
Longer than his girlfriends have been alive.
Touche. But saying that, like, he still has the IQ quarterback wisdom that no other quarterback right now in the league has. He's probably the most tenured quarterback in the league currently.
He's been a starter since 2008.
There you go. 15 years.
You want a really scary fact, folks, as far as how old he is. He was drafted 1 year after Eli. This will be the 4th season without Eli.
He also didn't play for
almost half a
4
decade.
seasons.
He didn't, but that's not the reason why Eli stopped playing. It wasn't because he's been playing so long. It's because he started going like everybody does eventually. Yeah. By the time wins every single time, Aaron Rodgers is going to be 40 years old this year. You know. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I'm just saying he's got the IQ over there, but he's an elite quarterback that's on his downside. Like, not to knock Rodgers, not saying he doesn't still have it where he could be, that top 5 quarterback. He's definitely going to be a top 10 by the end of this year. He was a top 10 by the end of, last year. They got to go play.
Yeah, he's top 5, Rodgers. Rodgers top 5. I was still putting my top 5. Like, if I was on T-Mobile back in the day, he'd be in my Fab 5.
I'm just saying, like, he was top 5 last year. He may get knocked down to the top 10, but it's still not to knock. Like, if he gets knocked down to the top 10, he's still a top 7. But I'm just trying to say,
one of those quarterbacks that when he goes, it's going to go real quick.
Yeah,
like Peyton. Like when Peyton went. When Peyton went, he was golden until that last season, and then all of a sudden, whoa, that was not Peyton anymore.
Yeah, all them neck injuries caught up real fast.
He was old. It wasn't even that. He was just old.
Yeah,
I mean, Peyton. Let's be honest. Peyton was a cerebral quarterback. He was never the guy that had to go ahead and, chuck at 80 yards. He was the guy who's going to rip apart a defense because he can just read it and see what's going on. But guess how old he was his last year when everything started falling apart? 39.
I was going to say, damn it. Why'd you have to say
40 years old is still 40 years old, guys. As a 41-year-old myself, I can assure you.
Tom Brady is the exception to the rule. That's what happens when you have
Tom Brady.
Half your life.
Let me word this very carefully. I have no proof of this whatsoever. No proof. But
goat's blood.
It would not shock me at all if eventually we found out that Tom Brady had done some kind of extra
PEDs.
medical things of some kind. I mean, let's be honest here. We had the Deflategate, so we know he had no problem doing that. We know the Patriots had issues with all his training staff and the supplements and stuff they used to give all the players and stuff like that. That was a point of contention that's well known. And we all know how competitive this guy is. I said, I'm not saying he definitely did. I don't have any proof or any smoking gun even. It just wouldn't shock me if that ever came out.
Well, here's the real question. Would those PEDs mess up his plastic surgery and his Botox?
No, because wow. That's again, look at the before and after with that guy. Again, he's obsessed with his image. He's obsessed with all this kind of stuff. Yeah. He's obsessed with winning. This is the kind of guy who makes that kind of move. Again, I have no knowledge of it. I'm not making accusations of it. It just wouldn't shock me if it ever came out.
So, it wouldn't. He would be the Lance Armstrong of the NFL.
He would. Like he'd be like Pete Rose. Like that kind of thing. It'd be like that kind of big thing. Anyway, back to the game itself, because Tom Brady's not playing. It's neither's Peyton Manning. So, I think the other thing we really want to watch in this game is the battles. Let's be very frank here. We don't expect the starters to play for long. If they do all, I personally don't want to see them. I want no starters. I agree and I disagree. I would like to see our rookie starters that are going to start play a few drives. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I want to see Banks out there. I want to see Hawkins out there. Like, I want to see these young guys start playing. And I purposely said that because before we went on a 10-minute, tantrum about old man quarterbacks being old. Old man Rodgers.
But like we already said, we want to see our corners match up against Aaron Rodgers. I want to see how JMS lines up as well. I want to see our rookies. I want to see how Eric Gray progresses in this
Hopefully.
game.
I want to see progressing at all.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I'm saying there's and we're going to talk about it tomorrow, but there's some locks in that running back position, and there's some questionable positions. I want to know who possibly is our third string quarterback.
We're definitely running back. We're definitely going to go over that stuff tomorrow.
And this game is going to start answering those questions. And we got our rookies in here. We got people that have been in practice, that have been playing better. I want to see those guys go out and play well to have a better understanding of what we got week one.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, that's the one exception I will give. The starters I do want in there. I said the rookies I do want
rookie starters,
just to give them a chance to kind of get some, especially again, like I said, especially the guys on defense, they got a chance to play against Aaron Rodgers. Listen, if he can play well against Aaron Rodgers, Hawkins, Banks, even putting a guy like Owens out there just to see what happens. Yeah, that's if you could play well against Rodgers, that's a pretty good tell of what you got.
And I also may want to see Evan Neal in a drive or two.
I don't. I really don't.
I just want him to shake off a little bit more rust.
I don't. Here's the main reason I want. This is because as we talk about the battles we want to watch, let's be very honest that our room of backup tackles resembles what happens and gets left in a toilet bowl when it's not flushed. Our backup tackles are horrible. Absolutely friggin' horrible. We need to see if we have one guy who can kind of settle in and be a little better. I hate to say I don't think we do, but we got to give them a shot at this point.
I hear you.
See that, or get somebody off the waiver wire.
I hear what you're saying, but one or two drives is not going to take that away.
No.
That's what I'm saying. I just want to see a few drives.
But you're making your final moves right now for those roster spots. This game may not be important to Daniel Jones, Darren Waller, Saquon Barkley, Bobby Okereke, Kayvon Thibodeau, the guys that there's not a chance in hell of them getting cut. But for guys who, are like a Matt Pert, for example, it gives a chance to solidify. But I'm saying it gives a chance to solidify to the Giants what he is, good or bad. Probably bad. Yeah.
That's
the best we have right now. But
yeah,
but probably bad. But it gives him a chance to see, can a guy like Corey Cunningham step up? Julian Davenport, who we signed recently, we give him some more chance to play. That's what I'm saying. We need to give the guys who are on the bubble on positions that we're not exactly sure on more chance to show what they are and what they aren't.
Listen, I agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying 1 or 2 drives for Evan Neal might go a long way going into week 1, shaking that rust off. You can disagree all you want. But
I did.
Yes,
don't you worry. I didn't wait for your approval, damn it. I didn't wait for your approval.
I know. I want him healthy as well, but I also want him to be productive and not everyone going out week 1 saying, "Oh, we need to sit that man because there's too much rust. Oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. He hasn't played."
No.
He's missed
I don't
playing
think
time.
anybody at the regular season could think, you know what? That Evan Neal, if we had played him that 1 or 2 more series against the Jets, he really would have had no rust whatsoever.
I'm not saying that. But that's what
if already we played him for these 10 plays, he would have perhaps gone ahead not be so rusty right now. This man is rusty as the Cowboys Super Bowl trophy.
Just saying, it might build a little bit of confidence for him.
Listen, chicks dig confidence. We don't need that in football like that. It's okay. So, some of the battles we want to look at as well. I think the big one we've all been talking about all off season long, the wide receiver position. We already know, obviously, some of the guys who are going to make the roster. I mean, I don't think there's any secret that we're giving out that we're like, oh my God, they can't say this. Tomorrow's episode is going to be breaking down who we think will make the final roster. But I think it's pretty safe to say the guys like Paris Campbell will make the roster. Isaiah Hodgins will make the roster. Jalen Hyatt, those kind of guys.
There's a few solids that no matter what you try to figure out, they're going to make the team.
But you could make the case of saying, okay, does Jamison Crowder need to play to show something else? Does Sterling Shepard need to play?
Does Cole Beasley?
Something else? Does Beasley? Does Sills? I mean, does Bryce Ford Wheaton show you something?
I was about to say, is Wheaton
be on there?
Is Wheaton eating his Wheaties?
I still think Will Wheaton has a better chance of making this team. I'm just saying, but I mean, we'll see.
Who? Johnson?
Then Bryce Ford Wheaton.
Wait.
I don't think it's a shot in hell of making the team. I just don't, personally. Well, we'll get into that tomorrow.
Yeah.
I haven't been a fan of this from the get-go.
Yeah. I thought you said Wheaton had a better chance than someone else. I was like, wait, what?
I said Will Wheaton. I was making a Wheaton joke. Will Wheaton is an actor. He was in Star Trek The Next Generation. He's kind of known as a nerd guy. He played a part in the Big Bang Theory show. Come on. Will Wheaton. Everybody knows Will Wheaton.
And doesn't he do like Green Rainbow or something?
No, that's LeVar Burton. Is that his name?
Yes, LeVar.
Yeah. The guy had the visor in the show and everything.
Yeah.
This Will Wheaton was the guy who played Wesley Crusher. He was like a little teenage kid on the
He's
show.
the only one that doesn't have gray hair right now.
Well, no, now he does. He's in his 50s. That show was 30 years ago. Plus. It's like 35 years ago. So, anyway.
Sidetracked again.
So, wide receiver. I think safety is a big one that we want to watch as well. I really do. You got the issue of, can a guy like Javarius Owens show something? Does Nick McLeod solidify himself as a backup safety instead of being a corner? Does Bobby McCain show enough to go ahead and be a guy who makes the roster? These are guys that are on the bubble, and you got to see, because I like seeing who's going to step it up when it matters the most. And it may not matter the most for the Giants, but it matters the most for some Giants, because for some of these guys, you don't make it. No, it's not going to be good for you. The rest of your career may be over. I hate to say it that way, but that's the way football is. But it's New York, though. I mean, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. We're going into more Frank Sinatra now. It's up to you,
kid. Yeah.
I don't know why we're doing it. Like Peter Griffin, Frank Sinatra, spreading the news.
Yes, see.
Anyway, that's one of the matchups that I really want to see there. See what goes on there. I think the guard position is still something that we're going to want to see. Mark Lewinsky may be the exception to the don't play any starters except the rookies. I think Ben Bredesen has got a surefire spot, I think, on the starting roster. It's just a matter of, does he start
to the left or to the right?
Or does he start at right? And if he starts at right, Josh Azuda's at left. If he starts at left, then Mark Lewinsky's in right. So I would sit Ben Bredesen. I'd put Lewinsky and Azudu both out there and see what they do. And just, here you go. You're going to play a quarter. We're going to. This is for the final championship here.
The final countdown. Do-do-do-do-do. Play the guard position. Do-do-do-do.
It's like we had coffee or beer beforehand, or both. So that's one position. Like I said, I think the other. But I do think that's one position where, like I said, Mark Lewinsky may be that one guy that's more of a veteran that you may want to see some action out of, because at this point we need, a little more conversation and a little more action, a little different than Elvis's song. But I had that song in my head, by the way, right now, because I just finally watched the second Shazam on HBO Max, or Max, whatever they call it now, the app. They change the name every week.
Yeah, Max.
Which, by the way, for those who haven't watched it, the second Shazam movie finally proves that Philadelphia sports are the root of all evil. If you've watched the movie, you'll know what I'm saying. I'm not trying to give it away for anybody who hasn't. But it proves that Philadelphia sports are the root of all evil. So one last battle I think we really want to see as well is linebacker. We've talked about that for a while as well with the hashtag Save Our Beavers. Stole your thunder there, Rob.
You did.
Darian Beavers, who I think is the more talented of the two, but he's coming back from injury, didn't have the benefit of a rookie year, really. Micah McFadden, who's looked better this year, but I still think has a lower ceiling than Beavers does. McFadden has been the one that Wink has said himself is in the lead for the job.
Yeah, I was about to say, let's we'll get more into depth about, I just want to give some props. I am a Beavers fan.
Yes.
I love the Beaver.
So, I know you do. I've heard rumors.
Yeah. But McFadden has really stepped up his game. We saw how he looked last year. We saw what he did, but he's really put in the work in the offseason. He's really put in the work. And which is what you want to hear from anyone that's playing for you. So that we're having this discussion, this battle, this time of year, going into the last preseason, going into week 1 of football, who's going to be playing this position? Well, we thought all offseason how great Beavers looked. Kudos to McFadden for keeping your name in the race.
Oh, yes. But I think if you put the two of them side by side in the beginning, you get a little more tape with both of them on the field and see what they do.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's again, McFadden has the lead. It doesn't mean it's over.
No.
So I think it's like Beavers would have to really ball out, basically. The balling out Beavers. In order
with Beavers.
Yeah. He'd have to really ball out at that point, take that spot from McFadden. But you never know.
May shave it away.
Never know. Yeah. So, all right, let's go back to some of the comments here, because we do have some more comments here. We've at this point we've talked for so long. Some of the comments have been a while ago. John said, "I hope we don't play any of our starters. Get guys good experience." Yeah. So we're on that board 100%. John says, "I love how Aaron said do few years. I bet Zach Wilson was like 4 years. This is BS. Wait, more time to go after some players' moms." And it's funny we're all saying that now, but he went after his mom's best friend or something like that. Wasn't that what the story was?
No, not that he went, that he was with.
Yeah, but here's the thing you got to realize. I hate to say it this way, but they're our age. We're joking around about the whole Cougar thing at that point, but yeah, Zach Wilson is what, like 22, 23?
I mean, I don't have a 22 or 23-year-old around. Unless I had a kid. At
No,
like 16.
but you could.
I mean,
You
technically,
could.
yeah.
I mean, so Zach Wilson's mom is actually apparently 50 years old. It says 50 years old. She doesn't look 50. She looks in her 40s. But that's actually a little higher than I thought. But still, less than 10 years away from me. So, let's see here. John says, even Tom wasn't good last Super Bowl. No TDs. Tom Brady was the game manager of that game, which is fine. It's what they needed. The defense was the star.
Yeah.
That's fine. Beef says they already know who the 53 are. Weeding will make special teams. I'll disagree with that, but I won't say it's impossible. So we also got a couple comments here. I'll go.
Dev, tell your husband to go to bed.
What?
Deborah Lee? You're not about to read her comments?
No, I'm not going to read her comments.
Dev, tell your husband to go to bed.
What?
He's got to work tomorrow morning, very early.
What's about a husband? What am I missing here? You just put some Minnesota Vikings things in. Oh, you know these people. Okay, see, that was context to be nice for me and the listeners to know. You got to realize when you're sitting there and there's a woman in a football chat and you're saying, tell your husband to go to bed. It doesn't come off very well. That's why I'm like, wait, what?
If you read the comment, you can see that she typed for him, Dola.
I don't know who Dola is. I don't know these people. No one else does, just you. This is like an inside joke at that point that didn't come out very well. Anyway, Dola/Deb posted a thing about Minnesota. So we appreciate y'all watching, but no, we're not putting Minnesota Viking comments up. But the nice thing is we don't hate the Vikings because we beat you guys in the playoffs last year. Just saying. Can't win it all. You got no more players left. No more Thielen. No more, I mean, you got a lot of players gone now at that point.
We still got JJ.
Last season. Yeah, but it's the last season for Captain Kirk there. I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say. Your dad's on it. He says, who's the long shots? What do anything and everything to make team? We're going to go over the long shots tomorrow. That's tomorrow's episode. You got to be tuned.
Yeah. So
tomorrow we're going to go again with you guys our bets for who we think will make the 53-man roster overall on the team there. And then Tuesday's cut day, so we'll see if we're right or we're wrong, because we're never going to be 100% right unless Joe Shane wants to email us at 2giantgoofballs@mail.com real quickly. But let's be honest, even Joe Shane doesn't know what the 53-man roster is going to look like, because they're going to pick people up and cut people based on who we got picked up and cut from other teams. That's life. Remember how many moves we made that day last year? We picked up Jason. Pinnock at this point is going to be our assuming he's healthy, is going to be our starter at safety. He was a guy we picked up like that. That's what happens. So, are you shaking your head at John? John says, there is no tomorrow Apollo Creed. Is that from the Creed movies? I have to watch the Creed movies. I haven't really watched the Creed movies. I watched the first
Rocky
one.
4?
Oh, I don't know. That's right. Apollo Creed died in Rocky.
Yeah.
In Rocky. It was the 3?
4.
Rocky
4.
3, I thought. Wasn't
4. Rocky 3.
Oh, yeah. 3 was
Apollo.
Mr. T. Number 4 was Drago.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 3, Apollo trained Rocky.
Yeah, exactly. As John says here, Rocky 3. So yeah, I think
there is. That's when he's swimming. Good call, John.
I think another fun thing to see is, for those of me who forget from draft day, the Jets drafted Joe Tipman out of Wisconsin. They drafted him ahead of our guy, JMS there. And he's the owner's center that was drafted ahead of him. So it'd be kind of nice to see him. And kind of compare the both and go, look, our guy did better. You drafted the wrong freaking center. But Yeah, folks. Here, I think here's the main keys here. Again, it's the last preseason game. The starters probably will not play at all. At least most of them probably will not play at all. We'll put it that way. We talked about the rookies.
Couple freshmen.
Yeah. Freshman orientation against Aaron Rodgers there.
Against alumni.
Yeah. But, in the end, I think there's two main goals that we can say are safe to present as the main goals of the game overall. One, stay healthy. Two, figure out the battles. If you're on the fence on somebody, because let's be honest, over the weekend even, they'll probably be on the fence still on some of these guys.
100%.
Look at our wide receiver room, especially. You got guys that I'm telling you right now that one or two people will get cut and picked up another team. It's going to happen. Going to happen.
There's no way we're keeping 10 receivers.
No. Not on a 52-man roster. I mean, let's be honest. That's the wide receiver and corners where you keep the most people at that point. So if you're going to keep 10 of any position to one of those two, well, we're not going to keep 10.
It's absurd.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, I think that's the two things, though. Figure out the battles and just stay healthy. We don't want anyone getting injured. Not that we ever want anyone to get injured, but you still definitely don't want a meaningless, pointless preseason game that no one really cares about the goddamn Snoopy Bowl. I think it's safe to say that. What we care about is seeing some of these guys and seeing how they, end up. So guys, tomorrow night, again, we'll be live talking about the 53-man roster here, giving our bets on who we think will make the roster overall. I think we'll probably surprise some people, probably upset some people with some of the stuff we're going to say. But listen, we'd call it like we see it. You agree, disagree, that's great. We'll have an open discussion in the comments section, I'm sure, as we make different calls. As always, we are live for right now, I should say, Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays. And that's every 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and of course my LinkedIn profile. And of course, we're on audio podcast platforms on usually with an hour or two afterwards there. Now, next week, obviously, we're going to be a little different. So that's why I said for now, that's the schedule. We will obviously be recording probably on Tuesday, since that's the day that the cuts are being made and the 53-man roster has to be finalized. I will be on vacation that day, so I will be shooting probably live from the lake house cabin. I'll bring my equipment over. We'll have a little fun time. Oh, yes. I bring my mobile setup with me. So, like I said, we'll have some fun. We'll have that stuff going. Maybe I'll, record live from the lake even. That'd be kind of fun. Probably not. Too much electrical equipment to bring by the lake. With my luck, it's going to fall off the dock. You muted yourself, Rob. You muted yourself. Unmute yourself. You just love to mute yourself.
Ding, ding.
Some people love to hear themselves. Some people love to hear themselves speak. I've been accused of that occasionally. Rob, though, he loves to mute himself.
I just like to speak. Guys, no one listening.
There's plenty of people listening.
Touche.
John, he says, Roberto, make me some chamomile tea with your little teapot.
Yeah, hold on.
That's not a teapot. That's a Moscow Mule he's got there. Those are tasty. Anyway, guys, again, we'll be back Monday. We'll do our post game. We'll be back probably, like I said, Tuesday, assuming that everything works fine with me as far as getting up there and getting everything live to go for breaking down the final roster. And then we'll go from there and figure out the rest of the week as we kind of go based on what news happens. Because keep in mind, again, there's going to be a lot of moves made next week. A lot of moving and shaking. A lot of moving and shaking. And then after that, we're going to start doing our regular season format. For those who followed us last year, know that we typically each week did a picks episode there. We talk about each game, who we picked at that point, what the spreads are, what's the over-under, all that kind of fun stuff for all you degenerate gamblers out there. We do
NFL news.
We do a episode obviously on previewing the games. We do an episode also on, of course, giving you guys the post-game reaction as well. We were talking this year about potentially even doing live broadcast during the games. We still may do that. We still have to discuss that option fully at that point. It may also be on a week-by-week basis because, like, for example, I'll be at the Dolphin game. Rob was talking about potentially coming too. We'll see if he comes.
Ooh,
See if he comes. He
maybe.
should come.
That's what
Yeah,
she
like I said, week by week. Hashtag save our beavers.
Yeah.
So anyway, like I said, week by week, we'll probably make that decision there. So in the meantime, just guys, give a like, give a follow, hit the bell on YouTube. That's how you're going to find out that. And for those of you guys out there in audio podcast land, if you do want to get involved with some of the stuff we're talking about, like the in-game, during the game commentary and going live during that, you're going to have to go on the video stuff for that. Unfortunately, we're not going to put that on podcast land afterwards because otherwise Buzzsprout's going to charge us way too much for putting extra, 16 hours of content, whatever that's going to be per month out there. They'll double my bill all of a sudden for that. So again, guys, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Again, hit the like, hit the subscribe, share with a friend. And before we go, John wants to make sure we saw his Apollo Paulie joke. He said, let's see. He says, Apollo, can he swim? Paulie, with a name like Rock? Paulie. Wow. I see what he did there. Wow. Anyway, guys, appreciate you guys all listening in. We know you guys have plenty of options where to go to your Giants news from. We appreciate you chose these goofballs here to be the ones to go ahead and give you the news. We're a little curious about your decision overall and the rest of your decision-making results as well, but we still appreciate it nonetheless. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Appreciate it, guys. As always, Giant fans.
Go G-Man!
Go G-Man! Favorite beavers.
G-Man.
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support. If you made it this long, you must have enjoyed it. So I am sure you have followed us on all the social media platforms. Of course, you have subscribed to the show on your favorite app as well and given us a top rating. Right? Right? Right?